Hi everyone, this is Jake Kruger and welcome back to Blind Faith Week 26. This week I'd like to talk about listening to people's stories and making sure we share our stories. Every single person has a unique experience that we've experienced before. Sometimes it is like we'll feel like it's something that no one else will experience, but I guarantee that every single thing that happens to someone will happen or has happened to someone else before. This means that if you go out there and share your story, you might be able to help other people in similar experiences if it's something difficult, or you might be able to help people have that same experience. God gave us a way of sharing for a reason. We're able to talk, communicate, visit with each other, tell each other stories, make sure that everyone knows what happened to us in situations. No matter how small of a story, no matter how small of an issue, all of us have things that sometimes we might need to get off our chest. God set us up so we can have friends and everything, so we're able to share this information. Never be ashamed of sharing, never be scared to share. Just share the information with other people, see what they say, see what experiences other people have had. Don't be afraid. And then when someone wants to share a story with you, listen, because it might help you in the future. It might help you have success later on, or you might feel better because maybe you had the same experience, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, someone else did have that happen to them, so I'm not the only one. Not all experiences we share have to be bad. Some can be good, and this also shares the goodness in the world. Because remember, as much as it seems like there's a lot of bad stuff that goes on, that's all that the news reports. So we almost have to be our own reporters to report the good news, report the good stuff that happens to us. Make sure that people know that they're not alone, because they aren't. Therefore, if you have any stories to share, like stories about religion or just stories in general that you think other people might benefit from, you can share them with me if you want, and I can share them, or just make sure you share with people. Tell people what happened to you in certain situations. I believe that God set us up because there's a lot to learn from other people. None of us are perfect. None of us are God. So none of us know exactly what is like. No one's smart enough to know everything, no matter how educated you are. You could have your PhD in 2 or 3 different fields, but still God knows more, and therefore it means that there's still more to learn. So make sure you're listening to everyone, no matter who it is. Even if you think that person isn't important or isn't able to help you, even if you're a professor and they're a student, just make sure you're listening to their story, because maybe one day you'll have a similar situation that you're like, oh my goodness, I had a student that did this once. They're able to be successful by doing this. So don't discount any stories. Just listen to everybody. Make sure that you're using the tools God gave you. God gave you tools to be able to hear and stuff. Be able to communicate, be able to understand for a reason. Even for people who are deaf, He gave a sign language, ways of communicating that way. So no matter what, make sure you're listening to people's stories, because they do have something to learn, and God gives each one of us a unique experience in life. We also have some things in common that we can share. So maybe no one has the exact story as you, but everyone has parts of the story that will match up that you can learn from or teach others about. This is Jake Kruger, Blind Faith Week 26. Make sure you're sharing your story with people. Or I have that email address, jkruger.blindfaith@gmail.com. Have a good week. See y'all next week.